Hello and welcome to the Blood Bowl Diaries, episode 4 with me, Hellboy.
I mean, the fear.
Right, episode 4. Now, it's been a little while since we did one of these. Not a huge length of time since we did one, but a little time.
A couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. And I feel we should just explain to the listeners. We had a few messages saying, "When's the next one? When's the next one? Hey, Hellboy, when you're recording? When's the next one?" We were intending to record this about a week ago, but unfortunately, we're going to discuss the tournament UKTC. Unfortunately, I came back from UKTC and then got COVID, as did a few people there. Not surprisingly, I came into contact with the people that also had COVID, so someone gave it to someone. So yeah, I've been a bit off with COVID. Feel fine now, all good and ready to go. And then we were all set to record, and then Fear, you decided that you were going to play in a little team tournament over the Easter weekend on Fumble. So that segues us nicely into what we've been up to. So, what have you been up to, Fear?
Well, yeah. So, apologies for that, because you're right. We were supposed to record on Friday, but a chap called Strider, or Strider84 on Fumble, decided that he wanted to run non-NAF, but using Euro Bowl rules, just a little
Okay.
three player tournament over Easter, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, one game each evening, and I thought it looked quite fun. I didn't, I asked my friends if any of them would like to play, including your good self, and everybody
Indeed.
blew. So
Yep.
I ended up teaming with a random chap called Gridiron Man, who I think is American.
Yeah, name rings a bell. Name rings a bell, actually. Yeah.
A chap who I think is British called Nobby Knobs.
Oh, lovely.
We did all right. I think we went 1-1-1. And my last game actually hasn't been played because I was supposed to play Largo FL, but he had a family emergency on the Sunday. But I got to play Strider and his Creek Rustigor Underworld. And I got to play a German coach called Baki with his orcs. And
Very nice. What did you take?
I took Zons, accompanied by a Zote.
Oh.
So I Zolcath the Zote, 4 blitzers, 8 line, 3 rerolls. Under Euro Bowl rules, that means you can just have the 4 skills, so 4 guard.
Oh, that's pretty good. The only time I played with the Zote was in the Fumble Major, or was it a minor? Anyway, it was a Fumble. It was either a major or a minor, and I was so much TV down with my lizards versus some high elves that I could take 2-star players and a wizard and an additional Apo, and I took the Zote, and that's the only time I've ever played with the Zote. So how did you find the Zote?
Well, what inspired me was in Gauntlet, the first Gauntlet of Fear that I ran, one of the rosters that was taken by a chap called Siggy, who's a German, well, he's Swiss now, I think, for NAF purposes, Euro Bowl purposes, was this Zon roster. It's really interesting because, as you know, I was always a Carla fan, and I used to play a few more Zons.
Yeah, I like Roxy. You like Carla. Yeah, I remember.
I liked having the strength 4.
Yeah.
Having strength 5 is even better. And Strider is a better player than I am, and Baki is a better player than I am. And I should have beaten Strider, but for some interesting things. A failed 1 in 9 and then a 5% play by him to sort of snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, including a pushed his own player out with Creek as part of the whole chain of crazy events. And then I beat Baki. So I put a lot of that down to actually some quite good strength in the roster. Having 13 players, good strength 5 piece to blitz with, and it's got Mighty Blow and it's got Juggernaut. So you don't even have to worry about 1 in 9 in the blitz, no nega traits.
And then, I remember one time I actually managed to get back in the 2016 rules. I managed to get an Amazon Blitzer managed to roll strength up twice in a row as her first 2 skills, and all of a sudden you've got an ogre on the Amazon team at low TV, And I can imagine it must be similar to this. You know, you suddenly put what is effectively an ogre, right, on an
Yeah.
Amazon team, and you've already got your guard, so that's really nice. And all of a sudden, you've kind of got a bit of a linchpin for the team to work around that adds just a bit more dynamic and strength to the team, doesn't it?
Comes with sure feet, which is good. It comes with a tail, which is interesting.
Yeah,
It comes,
especially as you're not really taking tackle on Amazons normally either in
yeah,
necessarily in a low skill build anyway,
yeah,
are you? Certainly with 4 skills, you're certainly going 3 guard, and you know you could get a little bit rowdy with a mighty blow, but I think 4 guard is probably the spot on.
well, I figured Mighty Blow on the Zoe without a Negatrak means you're always going to get to hit with it. So
Yeah, yeah,
you know, on
yeah.
the Blitzer. It's got so it's got it's got regen, which actually came in clutch. That came
Wow.
in clutch. It got jobbed by a rat ogre and,
Ah, very nice.
and recovered. Um, yeah, so I mean, I don't know whether it's the optimal Zon build. I mean, no one was really taking anything. I don't think overly sort of serious. I mean, Siggy, the aforementioned Siggy, he took a team he called Adge for Norse, which was high elves, and he just basically used all the skills for block.
Oh, very clever actually. I like that.
Yeah,
I
this is
like
quite
that.
interesting. He just blocked everything, no dodge.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen people do that on human teams before. They just block all the linemen. They don't. They take no
Yeah,
skills on the blitzers, and they just block all the linemen and turn the human team into a Norse team with just slightly
yeah,
better armor.
yeah. Well, obviously this is a better armor and better edge.
Better edge, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't think anyone took anything overly serious. Um, yeah, it was good. Really, it was good fun. It was good fun. And
Well, that's the most important thing.
yeah, I think he might run a few more.
Yeah, sounds nice. Yeah.
So I might be after it'll be like weekly stuff. So I'll probably be after teammates if that happens. So I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know. Yeah, yeah. I can. I'll. Yeah, if I'm around, I'll dip in for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. The only other thing I've done is I did play Strider in my JSD game as well.
Oh,
Uh,
nice double header. So he beat you in the team one, in his tournament.
yeah,
Did you manage to do him one in your tournament?
I think I made a slight error to be honest. I could have gone 2-0. I decided to stall one more turn. Possibly didn't need to. Then the inevitable one in 36 dodge. You know that kind of stuff. And he hit what he described as a banana play to another 5% play actually to equalise. To equalise, we drew one apiece. I was delighted. You know, he's such a good player. Any kind of result against him, I'm really pleased with. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. A draw
Yeah.
then. Yeah, nice.
How about yourself, Hellboy? What have you been up to, mate?
Not much. I've done. I think when we last recorded, I played a TSD game which I drew with my Necro, putting me 0-1-1. And then last night I played. Now I'm gonna butcher his name, but you might know how to pronounce it. Nimi, Nimi Le Asian. I don't know.
It's
Ancien?
French.
Yeah.
Nimle Eschion or something like that.
Okay. Anyway, lovely
Yeah.
guy, lovely chap. He brought his pro elves, which were his Elven Union,
Interesting.
which were fouling a lot. But quite humorously, every time he tried to dodge his sneaky git dirty player out of a tackle zone, he would roll a 1, then not re-roll it and stun himself for a few turns. So I managed to avoid my absolute butchering in the previous game, where the high elves fouled the crap out of my Necro, and I managed to squeak a draw. This time I didn't quite get battered until late on, but it still required some silly shenanigans from me. I think elves with the dirty player sneaky git stack is just, it's something to consider. It's something to consider.
These are all French coaches.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I've got a fair few French ones, but it's just they've got the agility 4, they've got the blodge, they're able to do elf things and get themselves out of trouble, but they can also do a considerable amount of damage for a team that doesn't get access to Mighty Blow by
Yeah.
using the sneaky Git dirty player. And I mean, we're going to cover that a bit later in some of the in some of the other matches and stuff that crop up later. But yeah, and I just feel I think I've got my Necro build wrong for this one. I'm not even convinced Necro is necessarily a Euro Bowl team now. Now I've explored the rules a bit more. Maybe that's something we can come on to again a bit later and stuff. I'm not quite convinced yet. I may change my mind, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. So yeah, so TSD I'm currently 0-2-1, but I'm having some good adversity, as we like to say. And I'm having some good fun with the guys in there. Of course, I'm not gonna stop playing. That's you've got to go through some hard graft to come out good on the other side. And that's certainly gonna get covered in my games in our UKTC roundup starting shortly. And then other than that, I've been doing a bit of streaming. I managed to get myself qualified with a Dark Elf team into the Blood Bowl 2 playoffs, the Chalice for the tournament.
Nice.
64 teams go through. Yeah, I've got a stupid team really. I've got 2 Movement 8 Blodge Sidestep Dark Elf Blitzers, and I've got a Strength 4 Agility 5 Leap Blodge Step Dark Elf Blitzer. And then the rest of the team, and I've got a wrestle tackle witch. I've got 3 guard on the team as well. 2 of which is on Blodge Step. It's just silly, really. It's just silly. And I'm having a great fun with that. So yeah, I've been doing that, and then we won't delve into it because it's completely unrelated to the podcast. But if you do fancy checking out my YouTube channel, which is Hellboy Blood Bowl, you can find some humorous.
Hang on, no, it's not. It's Hellboy _ Blood Bowl.
Hellboy _ Blood Bowl. Thank you very much.
And do you want to do the Twitch as well while we're here?
Yeah. It's twitch.tv /Hellboy _ and make sure you put the underscore. But yeah, if you check the YouTube, I've started putting up some replay analyses some of my Blood Bowl 2 games on there.
Yep.
And also some comedic songs related to Blood Bowl and people on Twitch and various things. So if that's the kind of thing that floats your boat, do go check it out. But absolutely no obligation to go listen to me singing Piano Man, but it's Blood Bowl Man, for example. So yeah.
What was the Daka song?
Oh yes, the instead of Mamma Mia by ABBA, it's Daka Daka, Here I Go Again. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so anyway, it's
hang on. The best one on the whole thing is the beer pig.
Oh yes, okay, yeah. Oh, that's actually something which we should mention, as we're probably not going to cover it because I think it's going to get quite a lot of publicity elsewhere. We may cover this in a future episode down the line when we can see the implication for NAF builds, of course. But the new Norse have been released. We've got the rules. We've got the beer pigs. We've got new star players. It's all very, very exciting. Beautiful models from Games Workshop, even though I say it myself. Beautiful models. We'll discuss that, I think, in more detail. But yes, when that got released, the morning it got released, I recorded a song which is to the tune of Baby Shark, and I called it Be a Pig. So it's Be a Pig, do, etc. Anyway, so go check it out if you want to get that song stuck in your head or you've got small children. Right, shall we move on away from this nonsense and crack on with the main event? So, a couple of weekends ago, we went to the UKTC, which is the United Kingdom Team Challenge. Not championships, as I wrongly called it many a time. Team Challenge.
Is that so? That's what I thought it was. Oh.
Yeah, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's I've got now you've got me. Yeah, you got me flustered. But no, it says it on the webpage here. United Kingdom Team Challenge. So yeah. Now, before we delve into what we're about to do with this, you and I had a chat about how we were going to handle this episode. And Fear, you said to me, Hellboy, what's wrong with doing a 4-hour episode? And I said, Fear, there's a lot wrong with doing a 4-hour episode. How about we split this into 2 smaller episodes? We're actually intending on recording them back-to-back evenings this week. So fingers crossed, those of you who are listening now we'll be seeing another episode waiting for you potentially, which will be episode 5, where we do day 2 of UKTC, and this episode we're going to cover day 1. Seems pretty good, yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because also, you know, when we were also discussing this, I was still under the effects of my COVID, and the thought of sitting anywhere still and concentrating on Blood Bowl for 2 hours at least was causing my brain to fry while I was there. So, shall we start with you then, Fia? How was your journey to the UKTC, and who was on your team, and what were their races? What were your races that you chose?
Cool. So I have a group of guys that I pretty much all the sort of team stuff with where they're available, whether that be the team tournaments on Fumble or on tabletop. We call ourselves the Wrekin Raiders after there's near where we live. There's I suppose it's a hill called the Wrekin, and it's a sort of local saying that you have to go sort of a long way to get anywhere, you've gone round the Wrekin, as it were. So
okay. She'll be coming round the Wrekin when she comes.
That sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So on that team is a chap called Speeding Bullet. He was our captain. He is a pretty experienced tournament player, and will be representing England in Europen in Malta later on in the year, as part of the sort of the England Europen team. And I had Dragonborn, who runs the local Shropshire League, the Shropshire Blood Bowl League, and he's played a fair few tournaments too. And then a chap called Golden Gate, who we were all shocked a couple of years ago to find out was actually Irish. Because he doesn't have an accent or anything, but was genuinely born in Ireland. And we only found out when he told us randomly that he was going to be playing for Ireland in Euro Bowl.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Although I don't, obviously, birth of his first child stopped that. And then COVID stopped Poland. And then I don't think he can go this year. So it's not happened for him. But of all of us, I think he's got the most. I think he's got 3 NAF tournament wins. I think he's 2-0 against K-Fogd on tabletop. He does pretty well, to be fair to him.
So quite a solid team there then.
And we all play in the league together. Guys that I've known for a long time. And all of us trying to improve, I think, is the thing. We're all on that same sort of that journey of trying to sort of continually learn and get better at Blood Bowl. So for me, really simple. Got on the train in my village to Telford. Got off the train at Telford, where I was met by Dragonborn and Speeding Bullet and Golden Gate, who made their own ways there. And Dragonborn drove us all the way to York.
Oh, lovely. Very, very civilised.
With a small stop for a Burger King on the way. That was about it. Do you want to do your trip, or shall I talk about rosters? Or
I'll do my trip. It's basically it's similar.
And who you're playing with?
Exactly. So my team. I was captain on my team. I pulled the guys together. I had Andy Davo of Twitch fame, Team Wales. Strong
former world number 2.
Former world number 2. Strong coach. So he was on my team. I had 20 Phoenix, Team Wales captain. Very experienced Blood Bowl player as well. Another strong coach there. So that's 2 strong coaches. And then to add to that, I had someone who was formerly known as Hawker. At the tournament of UKTC was known as Boneless, and has now changed his NAF name again to combine the 2 to become Hawker the Boneless, so we can still call him Hawker, because too many people were calling him Hawker. So, it's Hawker the Boneless, who is also a incredibly solid coach. So basically, yeah,
Is
it
he
was.
still? Is he still? Is it him or Davo? Is Wales' number one ranked coach?
I think it's probably Hawker.
Yeah.
Probably still. Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway, I'm in with it's basically
How
four
how the
four
how
four
the hell are
guys.
you captain?
Um, well, 20p is captaining Wales for Malta, so it seems a bit rude to ask him to do that. Hawker is a kind of Hawker's a solid guy who you ask Hawker to do something and he'll do it. So it's that's nice. And have you met Davo?
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Right, that sums it up then. Right, there we go. That's sorted. So that's why I was captain. Okay.
Right. Got it. Okay.
So in terms of travelling, I left my house I had an early lunch on the Friday, and I drove and picked up my friend Falling Down Joe, who lives
Yep.
locally. Used to live opposite him, literally opposite his house. We could look out over each other's houses and give each other a wave in the mornings if we wanted to.
Nice.
And so I picked.
Weird.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, very nice. So I picked him up, and we drove to Nottingham, where we parked on Andy Davo's driveway, and then the two of us jumped in the car with Andy, and Andy drove the rest of the way to York. We dropped Joe off because Joe was playing on one of the squad chaos teams. We'll come on to that later because my team actually played his team, so we'll come on to that later. And then me and Davo drove to our accommodation, which was a nice Airbnb, and we were met a bit later on in the evening by 20p with 20p's wife and young daughter, who humorously I thought was a 2-year-old son, turned out to be a 1-year-old daughter. So I couldn't have been further from the truth, but she was absolutely wonderful. And Hawker joined us later, and we were very, very happy where we were. We were about 20 minutes away from the venue. So yeah, that's what we were. That's it was 20p had a slightly more eventful journey, but as it isn't his podcast, I won't divulge into that. But he still arrived at a reasonable hour, so that was all fine.
And did you do anything on the first evening, or were you just?
We ate some donuts. We had pizzas. We just chilled out really. It was quite relaxed.
We headed out and found a pub called Brew York, where most of the tournament was. To be fair.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Brew York. I hear it's a wonderful town.
Yeah. Met some people. Well, some people that I've like. The team that was streamed, the Twitch stream team.
Oh, the Twitch stream dream team: Dimmy G, Necronome, Hancock, and Purple Chest.
Well, Dimmy G, see, I played a couple of times in like TSD and stuff.
Oh yes, yes.
And he's about the only person that's ever said anything positive about me and the way that I play Blood Bowl online. So I had to shake his hand. That was nice. And met loads people I know, like Wolfen and.
Yeah, there were a lot of nice people around actually. Yeah, a lot of people I haven't seen in 2 years almost. I think.
Yeah, we were just hanging around in the pub. It was great. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
But what I did learn as well is that there had been at some point some kind of issue, a sort of COVID-enforced redraw, I think, effectively had happened. And if that hadn't have happened, I would have been playing against Pipey in round 1.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So Pipey saw the draw and panicked. Interesting. I
mean, I suspect that's not the case. Being honest, I suspect Pipey saw the draw and was rubbing his hands together. Yeah, I think maybe so. Obviously, there was also people dropping out, all sorts.
Yeah, it was a bit
go through, and it was actually very well handled, I thought. But yeah, I think they'd had to sort of redo the draw because some of the teams weren't coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dodged that bullet anyway for round 1.
Well done. Right, so before we get on to round 1, do you want to just quickly run through what your team was taking, and I'll run through what my team was taking, and then we'll crack on with round 1.
Yeah, absolutely. So I took High Elves.
Surprise.
Surprise, surprise. That's
You
what I was
know,
taking.
if I had to make a guess as to any tournament you go to this year, I would guess you're taking High Elves first time. So
Yeah, although maybe not now. But anyway, we'll get on to that.
Spoilers. Here we go.
Yeah. So 12 player roster. One thrower, naked. 3 catchers, 2 dodge, 1 wrestle. 2 blitzers with dodge. And then linemen up to 12 players. 1 with wrestle, 1 with dodge, and 1 with guard.
Lovely stuff.
And 1 coach.
Hey.
I had a bit of a dilemma beforehand about whether to go down to 2 rerolls, whether to take a leader on the thrower, and whether to use an Apo.
Okay.
And do you know what? In the end, I messaged a chap, reasonably well known Blood Bowl player, Joe Manji, and I said to him, out of these 2, what do you reckon? And he said to me, it was really, really interesting, and I think will be one of the most helpful things that I ever hear when it comes to roster design in Blood Bowl. So I'm going to share it with everybody.
Oh wow, that's lovely.
I don't think it was I don't think he'd mind me. And he basically said between the two ideas that I'd had, the Apo with the leader, that's going to mean that I'm going to drop either the dodge or the wrestle on one of the linemen. And he said, look, it probably doesn't make any difference. Yeah, you either have the wrestle, the dodge, and the 3 rerolls and no Apo, or you're losing 1 and to put the leader in. The only thing that really matters is if you lose because you don't have the Apo, or if you lose because you don't have the dodge, for example, which one's going to upset you less? Because actually, when it comes to it in the game, it probably makes very little difference.
Yep.
And I thought, brilliant.
Yeah, I actually had the same discussion with someone. I won't name who it is. I was talking about their roster for NAF champs, and they had a choice to make on some skills, and they were saying, "Oh, I might take 2 sidestep," and I said, "Wow, but you're only taking 2 rerolls. I might take 2 sets of sure feet on this particular roster. It's a stunty roster, okay."
Yeah.
And we had a little discussion about it, and I said to the guy, now look, at the end of the day, it makes absolutely no difference, because you're going to lose a game, or there'll be a moment in a game where you go, damn, I wish I'd had sure feet on that player, and you're going to lose a game where you've gone, damn, I wish I'd had sidestep on that player so I could have put him where I wanted him. I said, it's such a small margin right now, it doesn't matter. Which one do you want to play with? And he went, I want to do the sidestep. Fine. It's your roster. You take the sidestep. It doesn't matter, does it? It's I'm going sure feet, so you've got some inbuilt rerolls so you can be a bit more mobile, because you're never re-rolling those GFIs. With only 2 rerolls on a stunty team, you're never re-rolling those GFIs unless they're absolutely critical, in which case, why not have sure feet and give yourself a little bit more reliability on some dice rolls that you can roll. But if he wants to use the sidestep, that's fine. So I like that. I like that from Joe. I think that's very true. I think that's very true with a lot of rosters, and I think we all do get hung up in roster building sometimes on making decisions that are so situational or so minute that does it really matter? No.
Yeah. I mean, it's 50-50. So.
Yeah. Apart from if your core and everything we've just both said is completely wrong, and there's only one way to build every roster. So,
Well,
love you, core. Love you, core. He's a big fan of the podcast, so we can say things like this. Right. What did your other guys take then? So you got a high elf. So you got an elf team.
Yep. So Speeding Bullet decided he wanted to take Tomb Kings.
Nice. I like them. In this. We talked about them last time as well. We talked about the Tomb Kings. Yep.
And he did listen to the podcast.
Oh, okay.
He did take on board what you said.
Okay.
And he didn't do what you told him to do.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But that's okay. That's if he didn't want to do it, that's absolutely fine. We must die on our own sword with what I've just said.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tomb Guardians, 1 block, 3 guard.
Okay.
Blitzras, 1 mighty blow, 1 tackle.
Okay.
Throw-Ras, 1 block, 1 wrestle.
Oh. Okay.
Fruity. He looks like a wrestle. He plays a lot of Wood Elves, though, or used to.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
13 players in total, 3 coaches. 3 re-rolls and 2 coaches.
Nice. Sounds fine. And again, there's a great example. I don't think I would take a wrestle. Okay. On that, I think especially if you've gone with a tackle, I don't think you need a wrestle. But if that's his play style, plays a lot of Wood Elves, as you say, then that is absolutely a legitimate choice for a roster. So very good. So we got a strong control bashy team, nice control on the pitch with a bit of bash, and we got an elf team. What else are you bringing?
I think you're thinking more deeply about our rosters than we did in terms of the team makeup.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
And we more went with. It's been 2 years, lads. What do you fancy playing? So Golden Gate decided to take orcs.
Oh, a very strong choice. We liked orcs in the podcast, didn't we?
Well, disagree about how much we like orcs in the podcast, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So he took Troll, 4 blitzers, 4 big uns, I think a thrower and 2 linemen.
No goblin?
No goblin.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Now, when I asked him earlier today, I don't think he was 100% sure on how he skilled them. But
that's great, given the fact he played 6 games with them and it was only a fortnight ago.
I think definitely 2 of the blockers had 2 of the big uns. Had guard.
Okay, nice, yeah.
There was definitely a mighty blow and a tackle for the blitzers.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember whether there was. I think 2 of the big uns block as well.
Okay, so maybe a bit more, maybe a bit more supporting your strength with more strength kind of skills.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to run around a bit and be a bit more mobile.
Yeah, it was really. He had a really interesting. Actually, we'll get to there.
Okay.
And then Dragonborn. Dragonborn decided to take lizards.
Okay, nice. I like a lizard, as you know.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot. I mean, he went 4-0 in a tournament. The 3 of them won a team tournament.
Oh yeah, I remember you. Yep.
But at TSD, it's a bit of a running joke now because I don't think he's won a TSD game. I think he's in his 2nd season with lizards.
Oof! I've been there.
Yeah. So
tell him it's only another 4 seasons and then you'll win it. So it's all right.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Oh, if he keeps putting in performances like he has on the tabletop, I don't suppose he'll care, to be fair. But,
yeah.
So he went 1 Croxagore, 6 Saurus, 4 Skinks, 1 Chameleon Skink.
Yeah. 2 rerolls. Apo. Yeah.
Yep. And he skilled them with
block.
5 block Saurus.
There we go. Job done. Love it. Great build.
What you got? What of your highly skilled, highly tactical?
Yep.
Team of Blood Bowl geniuses come up with.
Right. Well, let's start with me.
Okay.
Let me pull up my roster.
I was more interested in the.
Well, I know, but I did say on the podcast last time that I think I got the ultimate Necro build for this rule set, and I still stand by that. Having heard some of the other Necro builds that were there, I still think my Necro build was better than the other ones. Okay, 12 players. 2 rerolls, golems get guard, wraiths get guard, werewolves both get block, the ghoul gets leader, so you have the 3 rerolls, the other ghoul gets nothing, you got 12 players, so you got 3 rerolls, 12 players, and then you still pump all the extra stuff into the assistant coaches so that you're taking the rerolls. The only gripe that I have is that I didn't roll a single coaching kickoff event all weekend, did we? We must have rolled at least a minimum of it's going to be at least a minimum of 18, probably, isn't it? It's a minimum of 18 kickoffs. and I rolled 0 coaching kickoffs this weekend. So that made me a little bit frustrated. Whether I enjoy playing the team or not, we come on to a bit later. But I think that build for me, is the best build.
Obviously, you shared that build because I played against that exact build.
Yes. Well, no, I didn't share that build. But
are you sure? Because the guy that I played against,
yes, because I refused.
Told me that you had told him your build.
Did I? Did I tell him that I told him the build? Damn, maybe I did. I forget who I tell these things to. Maybe I did tell him the build. Yeah. Anyway. But if you know me and you know my Necro and you know me in general, right? I like guard. I like block. It's not a big surprise. You know, and I think with Necro, to be able to get the 3 rerolls in and the 12 players, this is where they're falling down in the Euro Bowl rule set. You can't get 3 rerolls and 12 players in because you give up an additional skill to get the leader on the ghoul. And so you're giving up. So you're then going from 6 skilled positionals to 5 skilled positionals, and which one doesn't get a skill in exchange for leader on a naked ghoul? So it's interesting. We'll no doubt we'll do an episode where we talk more about Euro Bowl rosters as it gets closer to the time and stuff. So maybe we can touch more on it then. But for this tournament here, I think this was the solid build in my opinion. So that was my Necro. Then 20p brought Undead.
No.
And as always with Undead, you only really have one choice to make, right? And that's where do you put the guard. So 20p went for 13 players. 1 skeleton is one of those. He's got 4 ghouls. He's got the whites. He's got the mummies. Absolutely fine. 3 rerolls. Lovely. One assistant coach. You know, no quips about how you're doing that. It's then where do you put the skills, right? So 20p decided that he was going to put 3 skills on the ghouls. And he went block on 1 and wrestle on 2, and that's just seasoned to flavouring, right? You know, it's how you want to play the team. So he wanted the double wrestle ghoul, and then he decided after some deliberation, that he was going to put guard on 1 white and guard on 1 mummy, and that's absolutely fine. I think I personally would prefer I do prefer the guard on the both whites, but you know some people take guard on both mummies, some people take 1 on 1. It's again it's just your own choice. But I think Undead, even with 5 skills, are just a solid team, aren't they?
I mean, you know me, I'd have put guard on both mummies and guard on both whites.
Well, indeed, yeah, of course you would.
That's. Undead are undead.
Yep, indeed. Then Andy Davo, as team captain, I had some say in who took what. Right. Obviously, there was a conversation that happened, but ultimately, I had some say in who took what. And Davo, right up until not the last minute, but almost the last minute, was not taking the team he took in the end. And then he won a tournament with Khorne, and he suddenly was taking Khorne to UKTC.
Did you not know? At what point did you know he was taking?
I think what day did we submit the rosters? The Tuesday we had to submit the rosters on. I think it was a Tuesday. I think we decided on the Monday.
Oh, okay.
Because we had to submit the race. We didn't need to submit the roster itself, but you had to submit the race. So Davo took Khorne. 4 block Bloodseekers, 2 guard Khorne Gores, 1 leader Khorne Gore, because that gives you the 3 rerolls. No Apo, because you want to have the 12 players. Currently on most teams, if you can get the 12 players in, so he's got the 12 players. And I think it was I think he was umming and ahhing about Juggernaut or Brawler, but I think I've the roster that I think is correct is he took Juggernaut on the Bloodspawn. If I'm wrong, then it's...
It's essentially the roster I was suggesting on the last podcast.
Indeed, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's almost like I'd had some kind of conversation with him.
God, who would have known? Who would have known? So Davo took that, and although Khorne may not be like the immediate pick for many people, there was one huge underlying factor as to why I wanted Davo to play Khorne ultimately. When discussed, or one could say why I allowed Davo to play Khorne, was enjoyment, right?
And he likes to surf, doesn't he? So.
He loves to surf, but also people play better when they're having fun, right? Yeah. And if you're playing a race that you enjoy playing, and you're having fun, then you play better.
Oh, absolutely.
So that was a no-brainer, right? So that was fine. And I didn't think I thought Andy was going to be able to draw games anyway, so that was fine. Yeah. And then finally, Hawker took Dark Elves, and on the night before the tournament was taking an assassin, and then was taking 2 assassins. And then was taking no witches, then was taking runners, then was taking 3 blitzers, then was taking 4 blitzers, yada yada, etc, etc. And on the morning of the tournament at 9 o'clock, sent a WhatsApp message to the group saying, "I've decided my roster. Here it is." And unfortunately, I can't download it for some reason. It says it's not available on my phone. I can access every other roster that got sent in that chat, apart from the one. I'm pretty sure it was the standard 3 blitzers, 2 witches, dodge, block and wrestle. Job done. 12 players. So we went round in a circle, and we ended up there. So yeah, we could have had a double assassin, double runner, no witch build, in UKTC, but we didn't. In the end, it was just a standard kind of dark one. So yeah, we nearly, it was great. It was great fun. It was great fun having the deliberation on the Friday night. That was a really enjoyable part. That's the nice bit when you got people that enjoy talking about Blood Bowl. Talking about Blood Bowl is great fun. So that was that. Well, right. Just
to sort of so 31 of the coaches took orcs. So they were the 32 orc teams. So they were the most popular.
Wow.
20p was joined by 22 other shambling undead coaches.
Oof, big numbers.
Second most popular team. Dragonborn was joined by 18 other lizardmen coaches. So the third popular team.
Yeah, I very nearly went lizards. Yeah.
Hawker the Boneless was joined by was joined by 15 of the Dark Elf coaches. They're in the top. Were they 6 most popular? High Elves, I had another 14. Necro, there were another 13 coaches. Tomb Kings and Khorne, 10 of each, even.
Nice.
If we haven't taken, we've taken, between our 2 teams, we've taken a fair number of most popular races, and then probably 2 of the outliers.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
That's nice. Very good stats. I like that. Good stuff. Yeah. Right, shall we crack on to round 1 then? And do you want to go first? I think we're going to do a format where you talk about your game in depth, and then a quick, or as in depth as you want to. It doesn't have to be massively in depth, does it? And then quick recap of what happened with your teammates, and then how you got on in the round overall, and then jump over to me and I'll do the same thing, and we'll go through games 1, 2, and 3, rounds 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, cool.
Sounds good.
So we started off against the Tillian Brigade, who were a team of Italians, and a pretty good team of Italians. I was up against Owen 86's Lizards. Golden Gate was playing against Liam's Chaos Dwarfs. Dragonborn was up against Bucky's Wood Elves. And Speeding Bullet was against Dirald's only single assassin, Dark Elves.
Okay, so they've all brought some quite serious high-tier teams there.
Yeah, and I suppose you're looking at it going, well, Speeding Bullet's probably in trouble against Dark Elves. With Tomb Kings. Dragonborn's probably in trouble against Wood Elves. With Lizards. Maybe. Orcs and Dwarfs are a bit drawish. So I was probably thinking, well, I probably got the best chance with Elves against Lizards, maybe. But anyway, in we went. So Owen had exactly the same Lizardman roster as Dragonborn had taken.
Yeah, very sensible. Very sensible. Nice one.
Good. I looked him up beforehand. I think he's in the top 10 Lizardman coaches in the world. So clearly knows what he's doing. Yeah. I think he won the toss and elected to drive.
Oh, curious. I like a defense as lizards, but anyway, yep, okay.
I think that's what happened. I got a blitz.
Oh, okay, so that just negates any choice anyway. Okay, good.
Was sort of the kick was reasonably sort of deep, not in his end zone, but only sort of a few squares, towards that way and wide. So I was conscious on the blitz of trying to get some people through the line. And I think I got one through, and then the second one failed a dodge. And of course, you can't use the skills on a blitz, can you? So that was that. And then he moved some players about on his turn, and then his first block was double skull.
I had that bucket water bowl with Podfree.
Yeah.
First block with lizards, 2 rerolls, double skull. You can't re-roll it.
Yeah, you can't re-roll it. So I'm then very much developed into his backfield and very much threatening the ball. At which point he duly fails the pickup and burns a reroll doing so. To add insult to injury, I obviously then run in and pick it up on him having just failed 2 3+s for it. Over the weekend I began to think of as my dodge brigade, i.e. the 2 blitzers, the 2 dodge catchers, and the dodge linemen are sort of, just in a group around the ball. We grab it, we sort of cage centrally towards his end zone, then we cage as I'm looking at it to the right towards his end zone. But quite proud of that because I was starting to develop some more of the pieces off the line of scrimmage as he was trying to get players back. And what I managed to do was sort of caging in the corner right by his end zone, but creating a channel so that when he kind of slammed into that, I had the space to come backwards towards the halfway line to buy more time because obviously I didn't want to score on turn 5, you know?
Yep.
So I've done that. Through that process, I've chipped a couple of skinks. In that backwards movement, I've been able to position my guard. I've knocked over a Saurus. I think I've stunned one. So he can't sort of... The Crocs is still being pinned by a guy back on the halfway line that he's unable to get rid of. Managed to then sort of... he can't cover the whole field then, even though he's mostly goal side of me now. I've managed to then sort of swing to the centre, swing to the left, score at the right turn, and we're 1-0.
Lovely.
I'm about to receive.
Fantastic. Just where you want to be. The rest of the team cheering you on. Win on the cards.
Yeah. So I'm conscious that sat next to me, a large amount of Golden Gate's Orc team is sat rather closer to me than I would be.
The Kaz box starting to look a little bit full, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it was getting to the point where he may have needed to borrow some space in mine.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
And he's against Liam. He had a 5+ pass to score on his drive.
Ooh, okay.
He found a way to have a go, but fluffed it. Did it get intercepted? I think he fluffed the pass anyway because you do that first, don't you?
Yeah.
But it got intercepted to add insult to injury by a hobgoblin. So that was that. I'm aware that Dragonborn has scored on his drive against Bucky's Wood Elves. So he's 1 up, and opposite sort of situation over there in that there's a lot of Bucky's Wood Elves that are sat in the Kaz box.
Oh, lovely. Always nice to see.
So that's looking like a potential. And Speeding Bullet has not managed to score against dear old Dark Elves.
Okay.
So you're sort of looking at going lost win, lost win. Yeah.
Yeah. Which you're playing against arguably one of the strongest teams I think that turned up. They've brought strong races. They're here to come and play. I think we said it before. If you're going abroad, you're bringing your strongest teams, aren't you? You're not if you're going abroad that's for something that's not the World Cup, where you're actually spending some money. You've had to travel quite a far. And you probably want to bring your strongest mates and your strongest teams, don't you? So
yeah. So there we are. So I suppose I'm now thinking, right, get the ball, keep the ball, don't do anything stupid. If there's a chance to score, if there's not, don't worry about it. Just keep the ball. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So he kicks off. I get the ball. That's good. We screen the ball. He does exactly what he should do, and he aggressive, faces everything. He's hoping to force a fail. I have a decision to make around turn 3 as to I've got not a spare player. I've got a player. Right, I've already got 2 players in front of my ball carrying thrower, and I've got a player, and I'm sort of caged towards the left hand side. Not in the wide zone, but towards the left hand side.
Okay. Yep.
Out a third of the way back on my half of the pitch, and I nearly put the player in front of behind the inside cage corner. And I think to myself, if I do that, he's going to blitz the outside cage corner to base the ball, which is going to mean that I'm going to eventually just kind of get forced into the middle a bit, maybe slightly enveloped. Whereas if I put the player to sort of back up the outside cage corner, he's probably going to then blitz the inside, which may get him to bring some more players that way, which may give me space to go up the left-hand side.
Okay, nice. Good thinking.
And that's exactly what happens.
Okay, very good.
Big brain moment. So then I've got a dodge without dodge for a 2 dice blitz without block, in all fairness. And then I think that's going to set up a dodge with a throw. And he's pushed into me that hard that the catcher is going to be 8 squares away from the end zone, and with a couple more 2+ dodges, I'm going to be screened.
Okay,
yeah,
very nice. Yep.
2-0. Yep. That's the moment the snake comes up.
Oh.
First action dodge. He's then got a block on the ball carrier, doesn't knock it over because he's based it. He then gets a blitz, does knock it over, gets the ball with a skink. I find 3+, 2+ with a blitz of dodges. Double go for it to knock the skink over.
Okay.
I knock him over, into the corner.
Yeah.
It's the sideline because your chances of the ball going out then is 5 and 8. Yeah. It stays in.
Cool. Okay.
Not quite able to get a catcher. I've got 3+, 3+, 2+. Go for it with the catcher to get back and support that position. Not able to do it. In the end, he has to throw a 1 dice blitz with the skink that was knocked over and pick the ball up and just nip in to go 1-all. Around that time as well, because so much was based when I failed that action, it's given him a load of blocks, which have taken 4 or 5 players off the pitch.
Yep.
So it's just been a horrible couple of turns, really. In terms of I've gone from a sort of what should have been a fairly solid winning position that gives my team the draw to a position where I've lost a bunch of players and it's now 1-all.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, at the time, I was thinking, bloody hell, 1 in 36 there's cost me the whole thing. In reality, you know what? It's not that. What's cost me the whole thing is I've not actually double screened the front of the cage on both sides. Yeah. What's cost me the game is I've looked to create a way in which I can run and score rather than just actually sticking to the mindset of just don't lose the ball. Yeah. And it's it's my error. However, I've still got 3 three turns.
Okay.
got
Okay. So there's still a good chance. Yeah. Okay.
I've got 8 elves on the pitch. And we get pitch invasion. And 4 of my elves are stunned.
I'm so glad we didn't talk to each other over the weekend. Like, we said hello and we checked up on each other, gave each other the thumbs up when we could see each other, gave each other a wave and stuff, had a quick chat, but we deliberately didn't talk about the games with each other. I'm so glad that I didn't know any of this was coming.
I'm going to apologise to Golden Gate because at that moment he obviously had a hell of a his table against Liam, getting absolutely blended. But he's quite quick with the wit and the puns, and he leaned over to say something to me, and I just bit his head off.
Oh dear!
Because I'd gone from a winning position against one of the world's most highly ranked Lizardman players to what is now looking like it's going to be a struggle not to lose. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You've gone from half your, you had 8 elves, which is 6 more than you need probably. But now all of a sudden you've gone to 4 elves, and you're staring down the barrel of the gun. Yeah.
So I've had to be creative. I've had to because the thing is as well, I've stacked one side. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And the ball's landed short on the other side.
Oh, it always does.
And the catcher that I've left over there in case that happens is in fact one of the players that gets stunned. So it's like, oh God. So immediately I'm dodging off the line of scrimmage to go get. and I managed to get 2 players in front of the ball carrier so that he can't just get to the ball carrier. And he comes through and he sticks the Crocs on it. Perfect thing, blitzes a player out of the way, sticks the Crocs on it, and I've got a 3+ dodge, so it's basically is all the biscuits. Yeah.
Yep.
Dodge, and we see out the 1 or draw. Just by getting the other elves back and getting in the way, and so on and so forth. In the meantime, Derold has scored with his Dark Elves against Speeding Bullets, Tomb Kings. Liam's obviously scored against. I mean, I don't know if he pitch cleared him. I mean, it was there wasn't a lot of resistance.
Yeah.
At that point, but Dragonborn has held out the Wood Elves and completed the win. So
1-1-1-2.
Yeah, in fact, I tell you, like he turned him over and won 2-0 Wood Elves.
Fantastic.
Against the Wood Elves. So yeah, look, I can't. Before the game, if you said to me you're going to draw with Owen, I would have probably said I'll take that. After the game, I was bemoaning, probably immediately after the game, bemoaning 36, and then the pitch invasion. With the benefit of a bit of hindsight and a bit of distance, I probably should have played it better. And everything that happened to me probably snowballed from me being, not just being ultra safe. I mean, why was the ball carrier that far forward? Why didn't I double in front of the, do you know what I mean? Just
I understand, yeah. And I think that's...
And the net result of that, and slightly uncomfortable result of that, is that I've effectively cost my team a draw against one of the best teams in the building.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know.
These things happen, though. At the end of the day, we are just playing a game. It is a game.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's annoying. It's annoying in the moment, but I think this is something that's really good. Is being able to reflect on it and go, you know what? From a personal perspective, you got a draw versus a great coach on one of their strongest races. You could have beaten him. You know how you would approach it differently. So next time you find yourself in that situation, you will be able to take on board that information that you gained from this tournament and go, yep, I remember when I played this guy and I was in this exact same position. This is what I need to do this time.
Yeah. I hope we don't find a new and inventive way to...
Indeed, yeah. Mess it up all over again. Here's another fine mess you got me into, yeah.
How did you guys go on in game 1 then?
So game 1, we played against a team called, or round 1, we played against a team called Doc Bartons. play on the shoe, I presume, as two of their coaches had Bart in the name. So Tatal was playing Davo, Bart K played Hawk of the Bonus, B Bart played myself, and a guy called Azek played 20p. Tatal was Lizards versus Davo's Corn, so Davo was quite keen to get stuck in with his claw mighty blow and go push the Saurus around. Bart K and Hawker had a Dark Elf Mirror. B Bart was bringing Skaven versus my Necro, and it was Zons versus 20p's Undead. So I sat down opposite my opponent. Lovely guy, really nice guy, very soft spoken, really chilled kind of guy. You know what? I sat down. I was like, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy this game. This is a nice match to start with. He brought Skaven. No Rat Ogre. Which as a team, Necro being a team that relies on positional staying on the field, shall we say. You know, you've got 8 key players on the team, and 3 fodder, basically, every drive, ideally. To not have something that's going to be smacking my players around with frenzy was quite nice to not see that. So, but he made up by having no Rat Ogre with having 4 rerolls and a very deep bench.
I see what's coming.
Yeah, so I looked at this and went, okay, this is quite substantial. You know, I think one of them might have been a leader reroll. I forgive me, Fear. I didn't write down his roster but I took note of what he did. You know, I knew he didn't have a Roger, and I was like, great, this is fantastic. And I'm pretty sure he had a couple of Blodge Gutters, but he didn't have any, like, he didn't have Strip, he didn't have anything crazy, he didn't have a Fumble Rooski, you know, nothing like this. It was a pretty standard Skaven roster. He just went deep bench, lots of rerolls, you know. So I won the toss and I decided to kick, as I like to do. So I set up, great. He set up, and the start of the game was just one of the. It was just an ordinary game of Blood Bowl. You know, it was like, okay, I'm gonna blitz here. Oh, I've knocked you over, or oh, I've rolled a push. Oh, we didn't really break armor. Oh, nothing happened. Okay. But because nothing was really happening, and he wasn't removing players, I was starting to get a bit of a squeeze on, you know, as I like to do in Necro. And he found himself on about turn 5, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was turn 5. He found himself coming down the left-hand side of the pitch, and he suddenly found himself based quite aggressively, as I've discussed before on the podcast, with some stand firm and some sidestep. And because he hadn't done any removals, or like nothing, maybe a zombie had been KO'd. It was very minimal. It was very minimal damage. I also wasn't doing any damage, I should stress. You know, there was no great big snowball occurring. I kind of put him in a position where he was going to need to roll some dice in order to move forward. And the kind of dream scenario happened for me, which was he makes the block, he clears the path out, you know, he gets a pathway through, and he moves the ball carrier down first. And then he needs to make some dodges to protect the ball carrier on turn 6, and he can only maybe get 2 rats through to do kind of like a half screen kind of thing. You know, but he would probably be looking to score on turn 7, but be definitely 1-0 up. And he snakes the dodge with his Gutter Runner. So the ball carrier Gutter Runner is just there, wide open, and I have a werewolf that is 7 squares for the hit, and the 8. So the first hit 7 squares. And then I don't need a GFI to do the second one, because the second one is within the wolf movement. So it's the ideal situation for me. You know, he's pinned himself down the sideline. He hasn't been able to break through. He's suddenly gone, oh God, I probably need to break through, and he's snaked. You know, these things happen. It's a similar thing that happened in your game before. You know, it's that moment where you go, oh, I just need to do this, and oh damn, that's the moment I decide to snake. You know. So I sack the ball. And then comes the kind of mad scramble, where we've gone from what has been a very not dull game, right? You know, but it's just one of those games. It's just a game of Blood Bowls happening. To, okay, can I score back on him now? Like, can I score on him? Can I go 1-0 up on his drive? And I'm counting squares to make sure I've got handoff options. I'm counting squares to make sure I've got I can do one wolf to the ghoul if I have to. This guy, you know, all this kind of thing. And he's doing dodges and trying to sack me and all this kind of stuff. And so the end of the first half got quite exciting. Unfortunately though, I didn't get to score. But I was quite content to go in 0-0, having successfully stopped the Skaven drive. I thought I was playing well. And around the tables around me, Davo had scored on his drive. I think Hawker. Let me check the final result. That would be the way to do it, wouldn't it? Davo scored on his drive. Hawker scored on his drive as well, and I think 20p had failed. He'd rolled a 1 in 9 on his drive to not score.
Ooh.
But you know when one of those games I got I didn't sit there and watch the whole match or anything like that, but from the discussion that was going on between the two of them as they were playing and stuff, I felt that 20p's experience could win out in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can hear the decisions that are being made and I'm going to do this, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I still back 20p to get a result out of this game. I don't think the game is lost. Yeah. So at that point, you know, we've got Davo and Hawker both on 1, and 20p I'm certain can still draw the game, and I'm looking quite comfortable, you know, having successfully stopped the drive. Yeah. I'm feeling good. So as a team, we're feeling good at this point. So the Skaven then kick to me, and again we start with quite a boring start to the second half. I chip a rat early. I think I got rid of one on the LOS, like immediately on the first block or something, a KO or something, and he didn't Apo it. And then it was 11v10, and then maybe it got to something like a 10 necro versus 9 rats. It was that kind. It was this. I was still 1 up, and I was feeling good at this point, and I was like, "Yep, I'm just trundling down. We're going to trundle along." It's been 3 turns maybe, and then I go to blitz a storm vermin with my wraith, and I've based a golem against the storm vermin and the line rat, I think it was. And I go to blitz the storm vermin, and I roll that both down. You know, I roll a both down skull. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I've only got 2 rerolls, or I've got maybe I've only got 2 rerolls because I've got the leader. I'd burned the leader picking the ball up or something. You know, something like this. Something's happened anyway. And I'm like, well, I'm not re-rolling it, and I'm not dodging away, so I'll just stand there this turn. That's fine. You know, I'll accept that this turn.
Well, the 2 guys next to each other, one stand.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know, it's all fine. You know, it's fine. It's fine, right? You know, and I cage the ball up, and I'm the ball is safe. Everything's there. And then the wraith gets hit and gets removed.
Yeesh.
And then the golem gets hit and powed, and is lying there on the floor. And then he gets stepped on, and he gets removed. And in 1 turn, I go from 1 player up to 1 player down, and that's 2 of my key positionals gone. And I've gone from, well, this is just a trundle into the end zone on turn 8, into
Yeah.
oh shit, I better not lose this game now
Yeah.
because because of what's going on. Yeah. Now, I mean, these players regened or were KO'd. It was I hadn't like lost them completely, right? They were going to come back if I had to score at some point, but they weren't there on the drive, and that makes a massive difference with Necro.
It's a. I mean, watch some of your games from TSD, and so seeing you play sort of similar. It's a big. Those pieces, those pieces in particular, are a big part of the way you play Necro.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And in this matchup, for guard.
Yeah, I think he only had one
together,
guard. Yeah, I think he only brought one guard Storm Vermin.
And without the Roger, that's your sort of that's your zone. You can't stop it. You can't stop it.
No.
But once two of them are gone, that's problematic.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he played that turn exceptionally well, right? He rolls the Kaz on the Wraith. Okay, that's just you can't stop that happening, right? But then it was 100% correct call to foul the Golem, right? 100% correct call. And so then I'm in a kind of scramble sort of situation. I think I maybe even lose another player. And he starts throwing screens and columns in front of me, and I'm just trying to get through, and I'm, and then you've got the added problem of, you have to remember now that Necro have changed. The Wraith don't have hands, so now you've got to really be careful where you're positioning your werewolves and your ghoul and all this kind of stuff and whatnot, and so all that's going on, and then And I'm looking around, and the call comes down from the table that Davo says he's got a 2-0 basically. He's turned the Lizards over, and Davo's on a win. All right.
Yeah.
Like a win. Davo's going to win there. The Lizard coach that he played against, Davo said this is pretty much word for word. Davo said she played a fantastic defense. And Davo got round it and just played and got round it, and then she played a great offense bar one turn, and on that one turn Davo went, this is probably the only chance I'm going to get, and took it and sacked the ball, and it was just one of those little blunders where later his opponent, about 2 turns later, his opponent said, I should have done that on that turn, and Davo went, yeah, you should have done that. It was just one of those games. But bar that, played very well. So but Davo said he got the win. Hawker was absolutely locked on for a draw, and 20p was looking locked on for a draw. So basically, I needed to draw this game or win it. Yeah, not lose. Yeah. Exactly. That's the key. But I was starting to lose players. I was getting stunned, etc. And basically, on my turn 7 of my half, the second half, I kind of did a sideways eye cage. So you've got guard and then the ball in the middle, and then ideally another guard player beside it. But I didn't have a guard player to put beside it, but I did have a player that also had hands. So I had a golem with guard on one side, the ball carrier that's got hands, and a wolf. I think I'm carrying on the leader ghoul, and then I've got a werewolf with hands beside it as well. So I've got two players that can score on turn 8, even if I get sacked. So I've got that in place there. And then comes the turn from the rats, right? Now, he's got 4 rerolls, and he was very conservative with these 4 rerolls until turns when he needed them, right?
Yeah.
And this is one of those turns where you look at it, and I think he had 3 rerolls, and you look at it and you go, oh God, not only might I not score in this game, but he has stretched my team so thin, I have no one here. He can get that gutter runner away, and I think the best I can do is base it if this goes well for him. Okay?
Yeah.
He has to make some 3+ dodges and stuff, and he has to throw blocks without block and all, so he has to make some dice. But he gets a 1D, because obviously I've only got 1 guard there, right? So he gets a 1D. I rather generously, and this is me being very sportsmanlike, right? I did very generously point out to him, as he said blitz and pointed at my player, I did tell him, you do realise that's a red dice uphill at this point. And he went, oh my goodness, thank you very much, and then cancelled the assist correctly, and then went in with a 1D. Okay, so I thought it was fair at this point. Okay.
Ooh.
Well, I'm a if you don't, I think earlier in the game he'd thrown a red dice uphill that he hadn't realised was red dice, so he still got it, but it was like anyway, no matter. I made that choice. He sacked the ball.
I mean, I wasn't there. I wasn't in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, mate, he was a lovely guy, right? I enjoyed playing him. And it was nice. It felt in that moment, it felt like the right thing to do. Okay.
I think. You know what? If he'd said it against me when he got there, and I went, all right then, who dice I choose? If he'd said he hadn't realised, I might very well then have allowed him to change it.
Yeah.
But I probably assumed he was just cage diving. I don't know. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. Anyway, basically, he had the players to do it. Like, he didn't need to roll any dice to make it a 1D. He just he just left it as a red dice. So, and then I said, so he moved the player to cancel the assist, and there we go. Anyway, and then he pows me, and the ball's on the floor, and I'm like, oh, this isn't so good now. The scatter though is the perfect scatter that I can get. It goes into 2 of my tackle zones.
Nice.
So it's a 4+ pickup from the gutter runner. So he needs to make a 4+, then the 2+ dodge, and then the 2+ handoff, the catch, sorry, and then he can run away. Okay? And he's got the rerolls to do it. And he didn't make the 75% pickup.
Oh.
So my heart is pounding there, and I'm like, okay, this is on now. This is on. Because it's a gutter runner that stood blocking the ball square now, because he's moved the gutter runner in to where the ball had landed in 2 tackle zones. I can engineer a 3 dice on it.
Ah, nice.
Which I promptly do. I roll a POW. I didn't need a POW. I just needed to push it out of the way. And then I can blitz off the other guy that's tagging the wolf. So I do that, and then it's just a simple 3+ pickup to score, and I make the 3+ pickup, and I score. So 1-0 to me. And then all I have to do is stop him 1-turning me, and Necro are amazing with sidestep wraiths and 2 stand firm. So I put 2 stand firm on the line and a sidestep, and I sit there and I watch him try and 1-turn. And as I watch him try and 1-turn against my sidestepper, I realise that you can do the 1-turn with movement 9 and sidestep. Luckily for me, my opponent didn't realise you can do the 1-turn with movement 9 and sidestep, and managed to be 1 player short of getting it. And we shook hands, and thank you very much. I really enjoyed the game. And I said to him, right, can we just look at this for a second? And he says, yeah, sure. And I said, right, if you do this, and then you did this and this and this, you can make the 1-turn with that number of players. And he went, oh my God. I'm really pleased I've learnt this in game 1, because I may need that later on in the tournament. And I thought, yeah, that's really good. And I'm happy to help him after the fact, right? On that one. I wasn't going to help him with his 1-turn. He clearly knew what he was doing. But he was just 1 player short the way he'd done it. But I spotted there was another way of doing it. So a word of warning to all you Necro coaches out there: the movement 9 1-turn with the 2 stand firm and the sidestep in the middle there are some rough moments where there are 1 dice required to make it work maybe, but it's
possible.
But yeah, it's actually possible. Yeah. So that was interesting. So Davo won his game. I won mine. 20p got a 0-0 draw, and Hawker got a 1-1 draw. His opponent scored, and then Hawker asked at some point during the game. He said, "Do I need to just draw, or can I push to win?" And I said, "Well, me and Davo have both won. It's up to you what you do." because the draw was locked on. It was whether Hawker was pushing to win or not.
It doesn't make it with 20p drawing. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, exactly. So he played to win, but didn't get it. So overall, a 2-2-0 for the team and a team win. So that was quite
awesome.
Nice.
Good start.
Yeah, good start. So on to your round 2 then. Who did you play in your round 2?
Yes. Well, having lost round 1 to the other room. I don't suppose you visited the other room or.
No, we actually stayed on table 1 all weekend. Not because we won every match. But because Hawker the Boneless, he's disabled. And I'd asked Pipey in advance if we would be able to remain in the same spot, and Pipey said yes, no problem. And table 1 happened to be one of the closest tables to the entrance / facilities, etc., etc. So we were humorously, we sat on table 1 all weekend, even though we moved around on the results sheets, etc.
Yeah.
We stayed sat on table 1 all weekend. So
That's cool.
So I never saw the other room.
Well, the other room was lovely. Huge sort of floor to ceiling, and the ceiling was high. Windows all the way down one side, overlooking. Bright, airy, loads of room. The Blood Bowl that was happening in there, slightly less than half the tournament was there. And it didn't feel like we were taking any room at all in the room, really.
Lovely.
I've heard rumours, not from anybody that knows anything, I should add, but I heard rumours that there is some discussion or thought about maybe moving the whole thing over there next year.
Oh, lovely. That sounds nice.
But as I say, that's, some guy reckons he's talked to somebody's dogs, former owners' cats.
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you mean. Yeah.
That sort of thing. So I don't know if there's any truth in that at all. But anyway, we found ourselves on tables 109 to 112, and we were facing off against Hubble Double, Toil and Trouble.
Nice.
It was a Spectre from the Hubble League, which I think is Hull. I think, maybe, yeah. And Dragonborn was facing off against CO Sam Hatoin. I was against JM Fing. Speeding Bullet was against Mark Fu. And Golden Gate was against Cam Stainton 210116.
Okay.
That's that really. I was up against Nurgle. Dragonborn found himself in a Lizard Mirror match. Speeding Bullet was against Chaos Dwarfs. And Golden Gate's Orcs were up against Humans.
Okay. Oh, the classic matchup.
Yeah. So my Nurgle opponent has all the positionals, couple of re-rolls, by memory 2 block, what are they, bloaters, and 2 guard bloaters.
Yeah.
Possibly block on the what used to be the Beast of Nurgle, what is it now, the Rot Spawn. And then on his Pestigors, there was a Leader, there was a Sure Hands, and there was a Claw.
Whoa. The Claw.
Bit rowdy.
The Claw.
Bit rowdy, isn't it? Bit rowdy.
Wow.
Yeah. I think he won the toss again. Yeah, he won the toss. I don't think I won a single roll-off all weekend.
Oh, brilliant.
He won the toss and he elected to drive first. And the first thing that happened was we got an officious ref.
Oh, lovely. The worst part of the game, in my opinion, in the NAF tournament scene, the worst kickoff result you can get is this bloody officious ref, right? Because you can't argue the call on a 1.
Well, what I will say is this. In my TSD game against Strider,
Yep.
Prato got sent off
Yep.
on officious ref. And I'm pretty sure, I think when I played TSD against Java, the NAF champ,
Yep.
he had a mummy sent off because of officious ref.
Jesus Christ.
I was quite enjoying officious ref.
Yes.
The first thing that happened is that my Dodge lineman got sent off.
Amazing. And now you hate it as much as I do.
No, I'm not a fan. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I'm pretty sure the second thing that happened was a player of mine got removed on the line of scrimmage. Now, so where we are up to is, I think I may have got the first game wrong slightly. I think I said his first block wasn't. His second block was double skull. His first block was a removal. And so at this point, we're now, including Waterball, we're now on an 8-game run where the first blocks have always removed the high elf lineman.
It's fantastic. It's
starting to get old at this point. Anyway, so this was... whenever you play a 6-game tournament, I think there is always one game where, certainly with an elf team, an AV8 team or an AV7 team, there's always at least one game where, everything dies.
Oh, yeah.
And this was honestly that game.
Okay.
I did manage to get one back. I think I cast and it didn't regen. His claw? Pestigore? Yes. But yeah, I mean his offensive drive was reasonably sedate, and I think I found myself with 4 elves, and I kind of run away to a large extent.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've not looked him up actually, to be honest, so I don't know sort of how he left me with the opportunity to base the two cage corners and try the 5+ dodging.
Oh, nice. I love that. Yep.
So I had to go on turn 6, failed the dodge, I think. I had another go on turn 7, carrier over on 1 dice.
Very nice.
Which I think panicked him. And at this point, he started with 3 rerolls, still got 3 rerolls. I think it's turn 7 at this point. He then burns a reroll, knocking the blitzer away because he double skulls it, or he 1-in-9s it or something. And then he burns a reroll, picking the ball up.
Whoa.
And so he just scores.
Oh, wow. Oh, because he's got spooked. He's got spooked.
I think so, maybe, because the reroll usage.
So so you've gone from 4 elves, an absolute nightmare, into 2 turns back with some of these elves coming back.
7 elves, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's 5 elves too many. Okay.
Yeah, well, it is really, isn't it? So I think I burned my 1 remaining reroll because I don't have the elves to stretch out and sort of go for the coast to coast on the last turn. So
yeah.
I've got to get the ball moving forward. I get it. My right hand side. It's hard for Nurgle because they're not fast, so he's got to cover both sides on his setup, and then it's difficult to get enough players across, isn't it, to defend when I've got but I've only got 7 elves, so I am left with 1 dice block without block, another 1 dice block without block, and then so basically I'm moving a rotter out the way, and then I've got. That allows me to then have 1 dice on the bloater. Is it the bloater? Yeah, the bloater. And then that clears the path for me to run the catcher for the end zone with double go for it. And, anyone that listened to the water bowl rundown will know that I had not a lot of success with going for it to score touchdowns at water bowl. So I am nervous, and I roll my dice, and I passed the first one, and with the second one, I actually say to the I went to water bowl the other week, and all of these failed, but this one didn't, and so we won 1 at the half.
Woohoo! Wow! So gone from sheer heartache to complete jubilation.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's going well. It's going well. So I think I've now got 8 elves. I think someone else comes back. And I want to say that he's only got 10 because of the Pestigore failing its regen.
Yeah, you've got rid of one, yeah.
And I think fairly early on, I then get rid of another. So, we're now sort of 9 plays 8.
Okay, not bad. Not bad.
And I then I engage the withdrawn offense.
Oh. Okay, and how did you find it?
The Dakar. And I move backwards, and then I go. And I've lost. I lose a couple more elves in the process, and we, out sprint him for the line.
Lovely.
And we're at a point where there is nothing that I can really do to prevent him from sticking his beast, rot spawn, next to the ball carrier.
Oh God. Okay.
He's going to be able to blitz.
Yep.
A player away.
Yeah.
I'm down to 6 again, or
Yep.
5 even. Because I'm getting blended all the way through this game. So he's going to be able to blitz a player away, and then as long as the rot spawn doesn't fail its stupid roll, it is going to go and stand next to my ball carrier. And so it's turn 7, and I figure, right, let's just score. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
If I score, the draw is now.
Yeah. Same
the draw's
principle
locked
as
in.
him, but much better for you. Your elves, he's slower. You lock the draw in. Yeah, very good.
Draw's locked in. So he's now got the 2 turner. I have 6 elves.
Okay, that's 4 elves too many.
He's back up to 10.
Okay.
The Pestigore that I chipped had passed its read. The second one had passed it.
Yeah, the second one. Yep.
We've got 3 Pestigores. So I've got 3 on the line of scrimmage. I spread them out because I figure I don't want them all getting spawn and get back to help. And I position my wrestle catcher, my dodge catcher, and a blitzer, which is basically all the positionals I've got left. Sort of 8 squares into, away from the end.
Yeah,
because
sensible. Yeah.
let's not let him hit anything and chip anything else.
Yeah, great.
Was it 7 squares? So he picks the ball up with a Pestigore. He hands off.
Oh, I lost you there for a second.
Sorry, he picks the ball up with a Pestigore.
Yep.
Hands off to a Pestigore.
Yep.
And runs forward 6 squares from the line of scrimmage. Right?
Okay.
So he's basically, and I need you to picture this, Hellboy.
Yes, yep. Visualize, actualize. Yep.
So he's 7 squares from the end zone, smack in the middle, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so 1 square off the sweet spot.
Yes.
Correct. Right. And as I'm looking at it, to his left, to the left of the ball carrier, is a bloater that has made 2 go for it's to keep up. Yeah.
Okay.
And has guard. So blitzing from that side of it is difficult. Yeah.
Yep.
To the right of his ball carrier, as I'm looking at it, is a rotter that has made 1 go for it to keep up.
Okay.
And in front of that rotter, so we've now got a little L shape.
Yes.
So that's made a double go for it to sort of get there.
Okay.
That's blocking off the 1 square that I can get a 1 dice blitz.
Yes.
In the front.
But you can get a change.
Yeah, it is stood right next to my blitzer.
Oh right.
Okay, so I've got 2 options here, or 3. I've got a load of them. There is an option where I run my my wrestle catcher all the way around the back, so to speak. Take a 1 dice blitz on the ball carrier, with the bonus that if I get pushes, I'm pushing them into the tackles under the blitzer. And the blitzer have to go at the ball carrier.
2 bites,
right. So we could do that. Yeah. But what I realise is, if I take my dodge catcher and I stand it on the end of his line,
yep,
then I take a 1 dice blitz onto his rotter that he stood right next to my blitzer. I can push his ball carrier 1 square backwards.
Yep.
That means that he now needs 2 go for it to score.
Yep. 2 go for it. Yep.
I can then dodge my thrower that was on the line of scrimmage, weirdly. And with 1 GFI, I can then give the assist that I need, that my wrestle catcher can run all the way around and get 2 dice on the ball carrier, with the added bonus that if I roll pushes, I'm now pushing the ball carrier out of scoring range.
Okay.
Obviously, the bloater can't score because it only goes 6, so we're away. And the rotters are now edge 5+. So as long as we've got enough, tackle zones on them, we're good to go, right?
Okay, yeah. Okay, just one thing. I think so. I just want to visualize this because what you've said, how you've just said it. You need 2 blitzes to do. I presume what you mean is that the rotter is based with the blitzer, so you can do the chain push. He has stood that rotter. Yeah, he has stood that rotter right next to him. So
you've
got the chain push without doing the first. So it's a block with the blitzer. It's a 1D block. And then you've got the okay, fine. I see it now. Yeah, I think you said blitz. I was confused, and I was thinking, is this going to be a great story where it turns out you needed 2 blitzes, as many Blood Bowl stories are? Okay.
So I've either got the blitz to push and then a block on the. So I've either got 2 shots on the ball carrier, or I've got this more convoluted way of chain pushing in range.
I like the convoluted way.
Yeah. Well, I rolled both down on that first block.
Oh.
So which obviously it's with a blitzer, so that's fine. His player's down.
Yes.
I've then got all I've got is a 1 dice blitz with my wrestler.
Yep.
But it's now pushing. I'm now pushing him in the wrong direction. It's a skull reroll push.
Ooh.
Yeah. He makes his blocks beautifully. He does exactly the and he's now scoring without even a GFR.
Oh no!
So it's a 2-all draw. But you know what? I came out of that one thinking, well, that's the game where I get blended, and I have come out with a draw. So I shall take that. I shall be
very good.
I'm totally happy. On the other tables, Dragonborn has won his Lizard Mirror 2-1. Speeding Bullet has beaten the Chaos Dwarves 3-0. I know. And Golden Gate has beaten the Humans 1-0.
Oh, amazing.
So we've gone 3-1-0.
3-1-0, amazing.
To the big boy room.
Fantastic. Oh, well done. Oh, that's really good. Sounds like a good round.
Yeah, it was. And they were good lads, and it was fun. And my opponent was a joy to play against, and
lovely.
It was great. There we go. How about you? Round 2 for
round 2. So we played Squad Slanesh, which was one of the many Squad Chaos teams that came to UKTC. Shout out to Squad Chaos. Whoop whoop. And on the team we had Granota, who is a fantastic Blood Bowl coach. Granota, that's with numbers instead of vowels in his name. And he was playing Davo. That was Skaven versus Davo's Corn. I'm on table 2 because me and Davo have won our first game, so I'm on table 2 of the team. I'm playing Wobbert, who is another very good coach. Runs a lot of good tournaments. I actually was part of the team that won his team tournament. We are officially the best league in the world. Because no other league does team tournaments as far as we know, so we were officially the best league in the world. So that was nice to get to play the organiser of that one. So that was nice to sit down versus him. Lovely guy as well. 20p was playing Falling Down Joe, who'd come in the car with me. So my good friend Joe, who was bringing Norse, having never played Norse before in his life. Hello Joe, when you listen to this podcast, because Joe does listen. And Hawker was playing. Joe. Yeah, hi. And Hawker was playing Hef, who is on a what's the word now? Now what's the word? Pilgrimage is saying it nicely. Torturous descent through the depths of hell. Playing dwarves. Because
this is
a
the guy
large,
that I played at Water Bowl.
yeah, because a large quantity of people donated money and a large amount of money. Yes, so Hawker was playing Hef. Hef being a fantastic human being that swears like a trooper, especially when all his dwarves are going, everything's effing going wrong, and it's and why the F am I playing these effing dwarves at every effing tournament? But in the nicest way.
I imagine he and Hawker got on like a house.
Oh, it was amazing. It was lovely. I couldn't tell you. It was the nicest game to sit next to. Really.
Yeah.
Like genuinely. So yeah.
Yeah, I imagine it was. I can imagine them getting on really well. Yeah.
Yeah. So Granota has Skaven. Wobbert's bought Renegades versus me. Joe's got Norse and Hef's got Dwarves. So Wobbert's brought a pretty decent Renegades roster. Right, he's got the 3 big guys. We got the orc, so that the orc can get hit if he needs to be. It's good. He's brought a sneaky git. He's brought the dodge dark elf. It's all. Oh no, it's leader dark elf? I think actually, yeah, leader dark elf. I think. But it's basically the kind of build that you expect to see from Renegades. Now, this is a curious one, the Renegades matchup, because obviously, if you listen back to episode 1, you'll know that most of my early experience on Blood Bowl came on Blood Bowl 2, where Renegades is not featured. And bizarrely enough, not many people play Renegades on Fumble to the point where you don't rack up the games, So, for example, if I sit down, as I did in Game 1 versus Skaven, even if I haven't played the Necro Skaven match very much, I know what Skaven can do because I played against Skaven hundreds of games, right? So Renegades, I'm probably in the sub 10 times having played versus Renegades, So
yeah, I think all of my games are in like NAF tournaments.
Yeah, exactly. So I sit down, I'm like, okay. Here we go again. Let's have a think about how I'm going to do, And so I'm kind of learning on the fly. And the game starts, and I get a werewolf removed quite early. It's my own fault. KO'd, I think. But bar that, not much really happens. Okay? Very much like the Skaven game. Right, we're kind of just trundling along playing Blood Bowl, right? And then he knocks a player over and looks at me and goes, okay, I've got 2 choices now on this turn. And he starts doing one of the choices and then goes, I've changed my mind, I'm going to do the other one. I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it. And he sets up to foul where he's looking for the removal on a positional. Maybe it was the other werewolf, maybe it was a golem. I can't quite remember which one it was, but it's definitely a positionals on the floor, and he's going to foul it, right? And what he needs is the removal because he's based my piece, which is stunned already. Okay, that's not the problem. But he's based the ball next to a zombie of mine that's still standing. And he's going to need to remove my player to put another player of his next to it to stop me getting a free 1D. But he just wants to foul my player, right? He just wants to do it. And he's like, oh, I know I shouldn't do this. Oh, it was great fun. It was great fun. He fouls. He doesn't get sent off, but he also doesn't remove my player. So next turn, I have a 1 dice on his dodge. He's got which player is it who's got dodge? It must be the Dark Elf's got dodge. Anyway, so he's left a 1D with this zombie. Okay. And so I start my turn again. We're like turn 5 again, Okay, we're back into this same situation we had with the Skaven. You know, we were just trundling along, all was fine, and all of a sudden, here we are. And I take my turn, and I do blah blah blah, and I do this, and I do that, and I push the odd thing out of the way, blah blah blah, and I look at this 1D, and I go, okay, well it's the last action. I'll take the both down if I roll it. I'm not re-rolling the skull. I'm not re-rolling a push. You know, I'll take the both down or the pow. And I pow his ball. So he's gone from being, you know, pretty safe, could have just kept trundling down the pitch, to suddenly the ball's on the floor. And I've removed his player. And it did have leader. I remember now. It did have leader. It doesn't have dodge. It had leader. Okay. Anyway, I pow it. So I'm like, okay, this is pretty good now. Ball's on the floor. You've lost an important player. And then he kind of does another scramble. And again, it's a kind of a scramble where I'm going like, oh, can I get the score? Oh, can I, you know, is he going to score? Can I get a score? This kind of thing. I get rid of his goblin on the way at some point. And as I remove his goblin, I Kaz his goblin, and I've Kaz'd his dark elf, and I look over in the box, and I'm like, okay, let's see how many he's got. And I realise that I've Kaz'd his goblin, and I've Kaz'd his leader, and he didn't take his leader reroll off.
Oh.
And this is where another sportsmanship moment comes in, and I said to him, I Kaz'd your leader. Oh, you should have taken your leader reroll off. And he goes, and on the turn before, he burnt 2 of his 3 rerolls in one turn. And I said, oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. And he goes, no, my mistake. And he removes his 3rd reroll. Just no trying to be no bad sportsmanship, nothing like this. He just said, no, we remove it. And he removed his 3rd reroll. So he went from having 1 reroll on going into his turn 8 to having no rerolls, which I thought was incredibly generous of him. And if he does listen to the podcast, thank you very much, Wobbert. That was a real gentleman move there. You didn't have to do that, and I would have also accepted him saying, well, you know, neither of us noticed. Can I keep my reroll? And I said, yeah, because, you know, I can't really complain about it. It's me that Kaz'd his player, right? You know, we're both meant to remember these things. But even with all of this and the ball being all over the place and it being scattered around or whatever, he actually still has a play. It's a bit far-fetched, but he has a play. I think he needs a 4-3, then a 2. No, he needs a 4-3, 3, 4-3, something like this to score. You know, and he's got no reroll, but it's still, there's no 5s or 6s in there, you know. And he manages to do the dodge out, manages to pick the ball up, and as he's going for the pass, he rolls a 1 on the animosity. So he retains the ball, but he doesn't get to pass the ball. Ouch. So that was that was a bit of a kicker for him there, I think. But yeah, so and I can't score back. So then, it's 0-0, and I'm looking round. Davo's managed to go 1-0 versus the Skaven. Somehow Joe has managed to score versus 20p, I believe. It was a bit of a shambles over there. Joe having never played Norse, he'll forgive me for saying this. Joe having never played Norse, did struggle slightly, but still managed to score whilst removing most of 20p's team along the way. So that was good. And I think Hawker is in the process at that point of doing a number on Hef's dwarves a bit there.
Yeah.
So again, I'm feeling quite good. You know, yeah. I'm definitely in a situation where this is looking good. This is shaping up nicely.
Yeah.
And then, in almost a repeat of the Skaven match, the game starts, and then all of a sudden, I lose positionals in the space of 2 turns. I lose another Wraith and another Golem in the space of 2 turns. bang, bang, gone. And, it's one of those ones where Wobbett looks up at me and goes, I just made no removals in the first half on you, and all of a sudden my dice have decided to go, this is pretty hot. And unfortunately, unlike the Skaven game, it was just a step too far. And, it's just one of those ones where it's like, I needed to not roll, I needed anything but a double skull, I think, on one block, and I rolled a double skull. Eesh. I need a 3+ dodge to then maybe sack him back after he sacked me, and I failed the dodge with dodge. And it's just one of those ones where it just slips through my fingers, slips away, and Wobbett gets the win. Lovely guy. He scores on turn 15. I tried the one turn. It doesn't work. I've got no rerolls for it anyway. But luckily, the mighty Davo train continues along. He's managed to do Granota 2-1 versus Skaven. The Skaven scored quickly, and Davo just to try and get the win. And Davo just trundles down. Hawker's completely done Hef to pieces. He's taken him apart. Hef's got annoyed at himself and annoyed at the dwarves, and Hawker's played well. And it's 2-0 to Hawker on that one. Joe has managed to continue to remove 20p's team and has got a win there on that one. So it's a 2-1 win for Joe versus 20p, a big scalp there. So with my sadly my loss, where I was desperately trying to draw it, once I lost the players, we draw the round. So we're still undefeated. But yeah, it was an interesting one for sure, and it was my first taste of what happens when Necro go really, really wrong.
Yeah, and I suppose it's tough in that sense against that particular opponent. Yeah, they've got the number of high strength players.
Yep.
The thing that you need the guard really to be able to fight them effectively.
Yep.
And you're not an edge team. You're not dodging and running away, are you? So you have to fight. Yeah, and that's without the guard, it's always going to come up a little bit unstuck, I guess. So if you lose those pieces, it's a problem. Yeah, well, such is life, I suppose.
Yeah, indeed. Right, should we slip through round 3 and then and leave a nice cliffhanger for the next episode? Yeah,
absolutely. So we find ourselves heading merrily back to the main room. Yeah, the main room. For those that have been before, the room that we were in the last time. So we're heading back up there, and for round 3, we find ourselves on tables 65 to 68.
Okay, nice.
And we are playing against the Beckerlock Blockers, who I believe are a fair amount, if not half, of Team Norway, I think.
Oh, lovely.
So Dragonborn's Lizards are on table 1 against Feppel. I'm on table 2 against Lona, who's known on Fumble as Straume, who I think is a reasonably good player. Everyone seems to say he's a good player, so that's good. Golden Gate is against Zulu, and Speeding Bullet is against Minok. So matchup-wise, I think we're looking at Dragonborn is against Orcs. I'm against Undead. Speeding Bullet is against Necro. And Golden Gate is against Chorfs again.
Oh, lovely.
Trying to remember Lona's build. There is a tackle white in there. I think there is a couple of skilled ghouls. I think we've got a guard on a mummy and guard on a... Yes, that sounds about right.
Okay. So guard mummy, guard white. Okay.
Yeah, and then a tackle on the other white.
Yeah, tackle on the other white. Yeah.
and then a couple of skilled goals. I think maybe one block, one something along those.
Yeah. Okay.
Kit goes deep. He wins the toss, and I think again elects to drive. Kit goes deep. I'm able to develop some pieces. Send the Dodge Brigade. Put a bit of pressure on. A little bit of a sort of side fight breaks out on the right hand side where his tackle White has come and got involved, and I get the chance to hit a couple of goals. And really, sort of halfway through the drive, he's just about kind of reconnecting his team on halfway.
Okay.
So I suppose there's an opportunity to sort of maybe play a fairly passive defense with the Elves, just get the columns up, limit him to sort of probably 8 squares of forward movement, and then see if we can just make it difficult for him on the last turn to score. But I'm conscious that I've stunned one of the goals, and there's another goal on the floor, and the tackle White is kind of off to the right-hand side away from my right-hand side away from the cage. So, I blitz a cage corner, base the goal, and just go all in. Yeah, just base up the whole cage and say, right, out of that. He's a very good player, and he's 200 ranked undead player, and he does get out of that quite nicely. And he probably makes himself, 4 squares forward rather than the 2. And I probably lose an elf just because of the sheer number of blocks I've given up. But, I get my pieces back and we get back in front of him. But we're not really now. We don't have enough elves to be able to sort of. We don't have 10, which is the magic number for ranking the whole pitch. He does a good job. He puts 1 ghoul within scoring range on the left-hand side of his. He puts 2 ghouls, actually basing one of my linemen, but that puts them in scoring range on the other side of his offense.
Okay.
And he's got a couple of mummies and some players sort of in front of his ghoul. That's the ball carrier that's right in the middle of the pitch. Yeah. So
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Pretty much where he wants to be. So for me, I think I've got a finder that's on the one side. So I can probably get that out of scoring range, and I can probably leave a couple of tackle zones on the other one, and I can leave a couple of tackle zones on the one on the other side. So at least we're making it difficult. And then, interestingly, in the middle, I've got a 2 dice up on his mummy. He's based my blitzer with the mummy that's part of the cage. Yeah?
Oh, brave. Okay, so you got 2 dice with block versus no block. Okay.
Yeah, versus a guard mummy, I think, and it's a guard mummy. Yeah. So if I get push, that creates a sort of an arrowhead sort of shape, which will give me a 1 dice blitz that will allow me to chain push the ball carrier, I think, out of scoring range.
Yeah.
If I get a knockdown on the 2 dice uphill, then I can have a 1 dice shot on the ball with my wrestle.
Lovely. Yep.
Catch it. I roll both down skull and then push skull.
Oh.
He takes the skull and
he's... what?
And he's gone. It's the 2 GFR. It hits the 2 Russian.
Okay. Fair enough. Right.
Let's be honest about this. Probably I shouldn't have gone all in the cage. Probably I was a bit sloppy when he did push. He pushed out to one side, to my left-hand side. I probably, he wasn't in scoring range, so I didn't need to double bank him. I could have probably worked a bit harder to just stop him back inside, because he was always probably going to want to push back inside.
Yeah.
There's two mistakes there really from me. He's a good player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, also, yet again, you're playing someone probably on one of their strongest races.
Exceptionally well-known coach.
Yeah,
You ask
exactly,
you talk to anyone, they'll tell you he's amongst the best that the country has to offer. He's a really nice guy. Played really, really well. Especially given that he, took him till halfway through the drive to get to halfway.
Yep.
And he scored relatively simply in the end. So that's that. On the other tables, I think Dragonborn has not scored on his drive.
Okay.
Against the Orcs. I think that I'll get this wrong, but I think Speeding Bullet has scored on his drive against the Necro. And I think and Golden Gate has scored on his drive against the Chorfs.
Okay, so pretty looking okay for a draw, maybe.
Right. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's not too bad. My drive back. So the one turner. I have no option but to knock, which is always the way with me with one turners at the moment.
Yeah.
But we have a go. It doesn't quite work. If that's a push, then we are going to have a shot at it. We'll push it, but it's not. So there we go. My offense, just I'm playing for a draw at this point. I think, I think that's what I'm thinking. Even though Dragonborn's not scored on his drive, Orcs are difficult to score with, as we've talked about, and so I'm fairly confident he'll probably play at a 0-0 over there. At this point, he's on a 6-game tournament winning streak, so he's obviously doing something right with Lizard. And obviously, it doesn't look like Golden Gate or Speeding Bullet are likely to lose. So if I get a draw, then we're probably drawing the whole shebang, maybe.
Yep.
And actually, that's the way it plays out. Actually, I think Golden Gate and Speeding Bullet draw 1-1, and Dragonborn draws 0-0.
Nice. Okay.
So
you're just tiding off for this.
Yeah, I go left a bit, I go right a bit. There's a snake somewhere that gives him half a nibble on the, because I've sort of pushed or fake pushed down one side, and he's kind of run his faster pieces back to cover it. He can have half a nibble on the ball, but he can't. He can't get the ball. So the snake isn't as critical as it might have been, and that's something that I learned actually with playing with elves, with high elves, is that actually if you aren't completely passive, if you do offer a bit of threat, sometimes you stretch the opposition out a bit, which means that if you do find that snake at an inopportune moment, it's not as costly because they can't necessarily do anything about it.
Yeah. They can't maximise on it as much. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the thrower recovers the ball. If we go down there, and I think I've lost a couple of players, as you do with elves, where I could score on 7.
Okay. Yep. But you're giving him 2. You're giving him 2. It's not. It's still doable with them, isn't it?
Yeah, I've just conceded a 2-turner against Nurgle, so
you're not. The confidence.
I'm not loving that idea. I look at the stall square.
Ooh.
And I think to myself, the thing that I'm actually worried about here is that he blitzes off the sort of screen piece that's closest to the end zone, and he maybe gets the tackler, somebody else, like goal side of the ball, sort of in the end zone or whatever. That could be really problematic. So I actually decide not to stand in the stall square. I decide to diagonally one square out from the sort of diagonal most, the corner of the end zone, so that whatever happens, I give myself that corner on a 2+, unless he hits some crazy dice to sort of take it from me. In hindsight, that's probably a mistake.
Okay, interesting.
So he decides he's got one play. He's got a dodge sort of past my screen. So he's got a 4+ dodge. And then he's got a 5+ dodge that takes him into 2 tackle zones. And that'll give him a 1 dice shot on my ball carrier with his tackle white. The ball at this point is on one of my blitzers, so blodge. Yeah.
Okay.
So effectively, 4+, 5+, 5+. He does have a reroll. He burns the reroll on the first dodge. The tackle comes into play.
Oh, hang on. I lost it. You cut out. You said he burns a reroll on the first dodge.
Right. Okay. We're just building tension here.
Yeah, okay.
He hits the 5+ dodge,
Okay.
and he finds a defender stumbles on the 1 dice block.
Ooh.
So tackle comes into play.
Oh God. Okay. Oh wow, that was tension that we missed there. Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And strangely, he knocks my ball carrier down next to the sideline rather than sort of in the end zone and next to the sideline.
Okay.
Yes. 5 in 8 chance of the ball going into the crowd. He limits it to a 3 in 8 chance, which is, I mean, it ends up not making a blot of difference, but I suppose it could have done. And I suppose if the ball is there, then I probably still score because I've got.
Yeah.
Whilst I haven't been able to screen it as nicely as I would like, there's enough elves sort of, chasing after the ball that we should be able to get someone there to get it and score. But as it is, the ball goes into the crowd and it goes to halfway. And I'm rapidly calculating that I've still got a passing play on with my throw.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's still on.
But then he picks it up with his ghoul and goes off out of range.
God. So what? He needed the 5 and then another 5.
He 4+ dodge, 5+ dodge, and then a base dice, yeah.
And then he gets the God Scatter.
And then the God Scatter as well, which you see, even with anyway.
And what's that done for the team? I hate to say it, but what's that done for your team result?
Yeah, so the other 3 drew. So
sugar.
We lose the whole round based on that. Now, in fairness to him, he said that it was, rubbish in terms of what happened.
Yeah, pretty rubbish, isn't it?
He went to the bar and came back with a beer.
Oh, that's nice. That's very kind of him.
He thanked me for running TSD.
Oh, good. Yes, as he should, yes.
Quite likely to forfeit his next game for him.
Okay. Okay.
I was joking, of course. Do you know what, though? This is the thing, right? Because, again, I can sit here, like in game 1, I can sit here and say, bad dice happened, and therefore my result has therefore cost the team the whole round, right? And that's not true. Dice did happen, but if I'm stood in the stall square, ball doesn't go into touch, right? If I have defended slightly less aggressively, maybe he doesn't score. Yeah. So the reality is we've lost the round, and I can blame the dice all I want, but really, it's mistakes that I've made.
Yeah. Shoulda, woulda, coulda played better, and actually
have created, created that situation, and
and maybe you still don't make it, right? Maybe you need your own 4+, 4+, 3+, 2+, or something. And maybe you don't make it, but you haven't, by not scattering the ball off the field, you give yourself the chance of maybe being able to score, rather than what if it goes completely wrong off the side. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Slightly weirdly with this one though, actually.
Oh, you cut out again. You said slightly weirdly, and then you cut out.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking. So okay. I mean, I suppose when it got to then my turn 16, we're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well. And he sort of shook my hand and went to the bar, and we tidied up. Thinking about it, he never took his turn 16, so he probably should have won 2-0.
Oof. Oh dear.
But I think at that point he also didn't care because there were backslaps and high fives going
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
The tables. Yeah. But look, lovely bunch of guys, great player, really enjoyable to play. Good thinking game of Blood Bowl. Really easy for me to go, bad dice happened. In reality, in the actual moment, probably on his drive, I gave him an option to make a play, and he made a play.
Yep.
And that further up the field, which net result was I ended up needing some kind of success on a 2 dice up block.
Yeah.
Chance of scoring, which quite reasonably failed. And and then if I don't put myself in that position, we very well might draw the round. So there we go.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
At this point, we are 1 win against a UK team and 2 losses against international teams. And what a way to end day 1.
Very nice, very nice. Well, I will. I'll rattle through our one then, and then we'll bring the day to a close, and then we can carry on in the next episode. So, game 3, match 3, was against Swinvasion, which are Swindon, Barnacles, Ronald Bino, Boggerhafen Bron, and Mike Davies himself, San, 0638. Lovely. So Barnacles is playing Davo. It's Chaos versus Korn.
Ooh.
Ronald Bino is, let me check, I'm pretty sure it's Orc. Yeah, it's Orc versus Dark Elf. Mike has brought Korn versus the Undead of 20p. And I am playing Bronze Black Orcs with my Necromantic.
Oh, interesting.
Now, for those of you who don't know who Boggerhafen Bron is, he is probably someone who could make me smile. I don't tilt, right, normally. Okay, so I could be having the worst day of Blood Bowl, and Bron could make me smile. Okay, he says things like, I watched him at Water Bowl because he was sat next to me at Water Bowl one game, and his opponent bemoaned the fact that he'd just rolled the 4th double skull, and Bron said, "Well, I only ever roll 1Ds, which is why I can never roll double skulls." Things like that. Just, and the whole game was filled with Bron saying things like, "And now I roll a POW," and it would be a POW, and he'd go, "Oh, I failed this one," and he'd lift the dice cup up, and it would be a failure. It was phenomenal, really. He brought chocolate re-roll counters, so when he was using a re-roll, he would unwrap the chocolate and eat it, so that was quite fun to watch as well. The game started, he kicked to me, and then he rolled a blitz. And when he rolled this blitz, he made a choice. And the choice he made was to put his sneaky git goblin down one side of the field and an ordinary goblin down the other side of the field, with 1 square gap between that and the edge of the pitch.
Mm.
Now, I didn't say anything, okay, because I also had information, because obviously I'd sat next to Bron at Water Bowl and knew that he'd taken Necromantic to Water Bowl, which was only a few weekends before UKTC, so surely he must remember that the werewolves have Frenzy. He didn't remember the werewolves had Frenzy until I surfed his Sneaky Git Goblin on the first action of my half, after the blitz. So that kind of negated part of the problem of the blitz, and I removed that one. It didn't get injured by the crowd, unfortunately, but it stopped it being around on the drive. Now, Black Orcs, I haven't played against them too much, but I have played the Black Orc Necromantic match before. And the speed advantage that the Necro have is quite phenomenal. All you have to do is just believe, and just don't panic if you start losing players. And, I was feeding zombies to black orcs to offer them to be surfed in 4 turns time, then 3 turns time, 2 turns time. But look at that! That black orc is now way out of position.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
surfed my zombie, but now your movement 4 guy is on the wrong part of the pitch as to where the ball is going. Basically, it was just a case of working it out, working around it. Working hard. But eventually, I was able to break through with the ghoul and 2 werewolves, and we just ran it in on turn 8. He went for the 1 turn. The 1 turn failed. So I was 1-0 up. I was looking around. 20p's game wasn't going great. Hawker had scored. Davo had scored. I'd scored. So we were looking. Three games were looking good. 1 game was not looking so good. But I also knew that, and I don't think this is not a reflection on Bron at all, and I think he'd be the first to admit this as well. If you were looking for a weaker link in the team, Barnacles is playing very well. Ronald Bino is playing very well. Mike Davis you can never underestimate. And Bron with Black Orcs, it was not the most competitive roster, and I knew that I could work something in this matchup.
Yeah.
And with Bron freely admitting that he is a certainly more on the let's have a laugh kind of scale, In 2 turns, he'd burnt both his rerolls on his own drive. And I sacked the ball. And I waited to decide which turn I wanted to go 2-0 up on. And I went 2-0 up. And then he failed the pickup. And I went 3-0 up.
You bully.
I'd love to talk to Bron at the next tabletop tournament that I see him at, because Bron had taken a very sensible build, okay? Guard, the sneaky git, all of this stuff, very, 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 very good, very, very good. Apart from the skill on his troll, I'll give you one guess, okay, as to what skill you think he took on his troll, because I could give you almost every guess in the rulebook, and I don't think you'd get it. So, what skill do you think he took on his troll?
On the ball.
It might have been more useful than the skill he took. He took multi-block. And he opened after telling me that he'd taken multi-block on his troll. He said, "I haven't used it in the first 2 games this weekend." There was 1 turn. I didn't have the heart to tell him. There was 1 turn where I left 2 zombies based on his troll when I was waiting to stall for the 2-0. And he followed up the first block. He powed and then he followed up with his troll on the first block. So he could have used multi-block, but he followed the pow. So he didn't use multi-block. So that was sad. That was sad. But yeah, so I won. Mike managed to get over 20p, 2-1 win there. Hawker held off Ronald Bino for a 1-0 win, and Davo's game was a 1-0 win to Davo. But I wish we could have them on the channel, because I don't want to delve too much into other people's games, because obviously it's their own games, their own stories to tell. But I think Barnacles failed 6 pickups on his drive.
Oof.
And some of those had rerolls put into them as well.
Oof.
So yeah. So my team though ended day 1 2-1-0 as a team. So we were feeling quite good, and we were raring for day 2.
Yeah,
and,
we were on 102, which was which was a thing.
Yeah.
But Golden Gate was on 111, and Speeding Bullet was on 111, and Dragonborn was on 10. Yeah, and I was on at 021, which is frustrating.
Yeah, yeah. We had something
I've
similar.
played two previous UKTCs, and
Yeah.
Dave has always been 3 wins for me. Third time was not a charm.
No, no.
It seems.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, for us, 20p had a little bit of a mare, but you know, he's a good enough coach, and no spoilers for the next one, but redemption is on the cards, I think. Davo has gone 3 wins with Corn. You know, okay. You know, is Chaos versus Corn the worst game you could get in match 3 of the UKTC? No. But Barnacles is a strong coach. So, you know, I think, overall we left happy after day 1. We were up at the end of the tables where we wanted to be. And like a 70s sitcom, or maybe 90s sitcom, I don't know if where we want to sit there. I feel like this is an episode which is the 2-parter,
Yeah.
and up on the screen, if you can visualize, now flashes the to be continued.
Yes. Hellboy will return.
Hellboy will return. The fear will be back. Join us in episode 5, when we will discuss games 4, 5 and 6 of the UKTC and do our roundup of what has been going on since the last episode.
And also, excitingly, we have the rosters from people that finished pretty high in the UKTC, winners and the individual winner that we can.
Amazing that we can have a look at as well. So, until next time, I've been Hellboy.
I've been the Fear.
And thank you very much for listening to the Blood Bowl Diaries. Tune in next time. That's me trying to be all fancy and, you know, to be continued. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.